I'm Melissa.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome back to True Crime Thursday.
Yeah.
And
So
the A&M podcast.
Right. Still the A&M podcast.
Still the A&M podcast.
I'm starting to grow resistance to changing the name too. I'm starting to want to stick to my guns because the merch.
Because this is the A&M podcast.
Yeah.
Forget
exactly.
everyone else.
Right.
Forget the football team.
Yeah. What football team? So this week, instead of talking about one case, we wanted to give some kind of updates on a few cases that we've already talked about, and then talk about a few other kind of, I would call in process cases. Yeah, things that are currently in the news, that are currently going on, that aren't really resolved. You know, no charges or anything like that, but they're current
trial
cases going on. Right, exactly. So, but I wanted to start off with a bit of an update on the case we talked about last week, the Janice Randall case, which there hasn't, there's no like update on as far as a change in the status of it, but we did get some details from somebody who had seen the episode from last week and had more information. Somebody very familiar with the case. And I'm just going to read that comment to give the additional details and context and some things that we missed or were incomplete on. So this says James and Janice only had one baby together. Janice had 3 kids from another marriage, and James had a daughter from another marriage. So there were actually more than 2 of them. All the articles I found only mentioned the 18-month-old and an older daughter as well.
Yeah.
Also, her death was never ruled a homicide. Never ruled a homicide on the autopsy or otherwise until now. So just now, when the daughters got the case reopened, is why it was ruled a homicide, which is amazing to me. So kudos to them for doing that. There wasn't enough evidence to charge him in 92 because the 1992 team failed to properly collect evidence or treat it as a homicide, which is interesting because that was kind of, I mean, there was like information on that in the story we had, but we had kind of both speculated that, it just seems like they didn't do the job they should have done. Interestingly, this is another interesting piece. It was never a cold case. It was a closed case. So it wasn't like they were still investigating. They had said, I don't know what they determined that it was. If they didn't rule it as a homicide, I don't know how they decided she died, since the autopsy didn't show drugs in her system.
Right. So they couldn't
Yeah, it was a closed case that the 2025 team reopened by the cold case unit. Big difference. So that was from someone who had, like I said, very familiar with the case. I'm just going to leave it at that. And some great details there. So we appreciate you for leaving those details. And we will be following this case and providing more information. And we'll probably do an update episode at some point in the future on that one.
Yeah.
But I thought that was some good information that we should pass along.
Absolutely. We love as a daughter myself, we love a daughter that fights for their parents.
Yes.
Go Daughters. Team Daughters. Hold on, my camera. If this falls down, you're just gonna not be able to look at me.
Yeah,
look at my ceiling at that point.
Yeah.
If everybody saw how they're propped up right now, it's literally like on a box, on a candle that's on top of a box.
Yeah, mine's on a dog ball. It's fine.
One day we're gonna have actual tripods and fancy equipment, but right now,
someday,
I'm sitting on a candle.
Yeah.
Okay, so one that I wanted to talk about is so this is in Long Island near Gilgo Beach. I hope I'm saying that right. Massapequa Park, New York.
That would be Massapequa. Never mind. I just mispronounced it as well. I think it's Massapequa.
I
All those Native American names, you know. You got them in the Northeast, and you got them in Florida.
Oh yeah, like what's the one over in Tampa?
Over
You
in
know what one I'm
Tampa.
talking about? Like that you
Nope.
see when you're driving back. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
Thanota Sassa?
The Nonasasa. When you
Yeah, I
first
don't.
look at it, I don't think that's
Is
I
that
don't know.
yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, I'm just saying.
Anyway,
Either
yeah.
way. Okay, so thank you for correction. I never claimed to be good at pronunciations. So, there were some serial killers in Long Island, and I don't know if you guys knew that. I didn't know that, but there were. And it was between 2010 and hold on. Yeah, between 17 victims between the period of 1993 and 2010. So on April 8th, 2026, 62-year-old architect Rex Heuermann pleaded guilty to murdering 7 women and admitting to killing an 8th, Karen Bergata, marking a major resolution to the long unsolved Gilgo Beach serial killer case. Heuermann from Massapequa Park, New York, strangled the victims over a 17-year period, which is kind of
Wow.
crazy to me because I guess when I think of like serial killers, maybe it's just the documentaries that I'm watching or like, just knowing of the like more well-known ones. I don't assume that it's like it's kind of crazy to me that somebody can even get away with something like that over that course of a time, like
Right.
killing that many people over like a 17-year period. That's such a long time to the, like I don't know. That's just really
Yeah.
crazy to me.
To keep, I think it's like you assume they'd get caught before it could go on that long.
Yeah, like I always assume like a serial killer is literally murdering the victims at on like a weekly basis. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
like in such a shorter time window. Um so yeah, within a 17-year period between, as I said, 1993 and 2010, most bodies were found in Burlap near Gilgo Beach. So, um, yeah, he pleaded guilty to all of those women, and there was an 8th woman that they didn't originally connect to him. She was murdered in 1996, and her remains were found in 1996 and in 2011. So I'm
So
guessing,
part was found and part was
yes,
found later. Wow, that's terrible. That's
crazy.
horrible. So,
So the breakthrough came in 2022 using DNA from a discarded pizza crust and witness reports of his pickup truck, leading to his 2023 arrest. So he was arrested in
wow.
2023, and yeah, discarded pizza crust. Isn't that
Who knew?
crazy?
Who knew, right? I mean,
Just when y'all think you're
that is crazy.
slick, he
Yeah.
literally, yeah, he got caught
Don't be
from
leaving that pizza crust.
DNA
So,
on his pizza crust.
was there recently something with this case? Because I seem to have heard about a case, I think it was just this morning, where they were talking about some serial killer being sentenced to death. Was that this case?
Um,
Might not have. It might not have been
no,
because
no, no. I
I
think that
just
was a
kind of heard it
different
in passing.
case. I think that was a
Got you.
different case because he, yeah, no, this one was, I mean, he was arrested in 2023, but just recently is when he actually, um, pleaded guilty.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Maybe that was what it might have been this case. Maybe that was what I heard. Interesting.
Um,
So,
it
okay.
says it says that the victims also were largely sex workers, which I think that there's a lot. I've heard of a lot of cases like that,
Yeah.
unfortunately, where like
Yeah.
that's always the type victim that these sickos go for because
Yeah.
they just assume that nobody is. Honestly, that's how they get away with it for so long sometimes because they just assume that they can do whatever and nobody's going to be looking for
Yeah.
them or whatever.
Or nobody's really gonna, care. It's sad to put it that
Yeah.
way, but nobody's gonna care because, they think of that as a throwaway human or something. Um, yeah, and I think the thing of the 17-year period is interesting too because it
Hmm.
shows like a certain level of arrogance. Like I feel like that's a case where that person, after a while thinks I can just keep getting away with this. Look how long
Hmm.
I've gotten away with this.
Hmm.
There's an expectation that, you're just going to be able to keep doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, it says that the victims were well, just read that. So many remains were discovered in 2010 during the search for Shanann Gilbert, whose death sparked the initial investigation, but was not directly linked by the killer.
Oh,
So
that's interesting. So
they
that's
were
another
looking,
one.
yeah.
Now, is there like a trial date? You said he just admitted, so I guess there's not going to be a trial if he pled guilty. There would just be a sentencing.
Yeah, probably just a sense, and it doesn't say anything about a trial date or anything like that.
Yeah,
He's
they
been
may
he's
still
been
have.
in jail, but
Yeah, they may still end up having some kind of a, I don't know, a trial depending on if he's, if it was a plea deal where it's like you plead, we'll just sentence you to life, that kind of thing, which would be insane for a serial killer who killed that many people. But
yeah, so it says that he was also known to have dismembered some of the victims, and
that is,
the case went cold for over a decade, heavily hindered by the corruption within the Suffolk County Police.
wow.
So, yeah, and he was also an architectural consultant, and he had a Manhattan firm and lived in Massapequa Park near the
That's
dumping sites.
It's kind of crazy to me too because it goes back to we've talked about this with a few of these people who seem, I mean, he's like got an architectural job and all that,
Mm-hmm.
and you think a professional and that kind of thing, you think somebody who's got it together, and apparently not.
Yeah, and he used burner phones to contact the women as well.
Wow. So
It's always crazy to me too because it's like, man, y'all criminals really think you're smart.
yeah.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah, they watch just enough of the like,
Like
TV crime
CSIs.
shows to get the ideas to use burner phones, but then they
Right.
forget that the guy gets caught, at the end. They don't watch the whole episode or something and see that he gets caught, I
Or they
guess.
just think like I'm a little bit smarter though, but
Yeah. Yeah.
and then you don't eat, you know what? Hey, and then you don't eat your pizza crust and they get your DNA from it.
Yeah, that's right.
Cuz
That's what you get for throwing away that crust.
so I guess like that's how I'm, just an assumption that his DNA I'm sure was like found on some of the women, I'm guessing,
Oh
cuz I don't
yeah,
know how
I
they
would
would have even.
imagine. I would imagine that's. I mean, something. Again, we talked before about the under the fingernails and that. Like,
Oh, yeah.
no
That
matter
might be
what
a.
went on before he
Mhm.
killed them. The fingernails or whatever.
Yeah, I haven't really heard of this one until today when I saw the case
Yeah,
update on it, but I don't know, maybe we'll do a deep dive on that eventually. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. We could. Yeah, when the case closes, maybe that'd be a good one to do. Some of these are cases that are
Hmm.
well, we said that are still in process. So,
Yeah.
some of these we may revisit. But just to kind of to give you some details on some ongoing things, I would say. Another one,
Yeah.
well, I'll let you do the other one that we wanted to talk about because I want to talk about this one, this Bahamas case. So
Oh, yeah.
uh, it was a guy named Brian Hooker from, I guess, Michigan, and
Crazy
he had
last
been
name.
out. Yeah, well, let's not go there. Um, but because
I
that'd
would
be two
hate
cases
that.
in a row that we know.
I would
But
hate having this certain. I'm sorry to like detour your story, but like
yeah, that's okay.
there's just some last names that I would just never
Yeah,
marry into. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's true. That would be a difficult one. Like, no, I'm gonna keep my name. But so he was from Michigan, um, and he and his wife had been on a sailboat in the Bahamas, and apparently they were on dinghy, a small boat going from the sailboat to the shore.
Okay.
It tells me where they were going. It was somewhere in the Bahamas. They
Mhm.
were on the sailboat. They got onto an 8-foot dinghy to motorboat to the town to from Hopetown to Elbow Cay in the Bahamas,
Mhm.
and she allegedly it was a bad wind, I guess. She allegedly fell overboard with the keys to the motorboat, so they couldn't. So he was stuck, I guess, because he didn't have the key, so he couldn't start the boat. So he was just out there floating around for hours. This is his
Oh
version
my
of the
God.
story. So he denied any wrongdoing. The authorities in the Bahamas placed him under arrest. I think it was on April 8th. They placed him under arrest, but they have since then released him without charging him with anything.
Mhm.
Um, Actually, he was in custody since April 8th. Yeah. And he was released and they didn't charge him with anything. That happened, by the way, on April 4th. So this is very recent. Um, and it's similar in a way to the Janice Randall case because her daughters who were not he was I guess their stepfather
Mhm.
um had I'd seen them on the news before it came out that he was arrested, that they just thought something wasn't right with what had happened. I guess there
Mhm.
had been some circumstances with him in the past that had them concerned. So at this point, I guess the U.S. Coast Guard has opened an investigation into it, but he is not in jail at this point. He's not been charged with anything. But stay tuned because that's another one that's going to be in the well, it has been in the news, and that's definitely another one we'll follow up on because it's very fresh.
So there's
It's still in
speculation
progress.
that he did something.
Yeah, that he must have, I mean, it is a little odd, right? That she
Hmm.
falls out of the boat and somehow he doesn't try to get to her, throw I
Oh,
guess
right.
actually I had heard one of the things he had left a voicemail for one of the daughters or something and said something about he threw the life preserver to her, but he missed or it didn't get to her or something to that effect. And
My goodness.
but I mean I don't know. I don't it sounds fishy. We'll see what comes out of it because we're
Yeah.
not the investigators and we're not the judge or jury. So
No, just
um
the
and he's denied any wrongdoing. So we are all innocent until proven guilty. But once you're proven guilty, you're guilty. So that was
yeah.
another one that I had seen recently that had my attention and seems like it'll be one we'll be talking about down the road.
Yeah, I wonder if the Bahamas if they arrested him just situationally. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, the thing that I was reading said that like he had been arrested, but yeah, law enforcement freed him after consulting with the prosecutors who recommended against filing charges at this time
mm,
with investigations underway. So they're still investigating this. They want to they want to get all their stuff together before all their ducks in a row, as it were, before they bring charges because otherwise, you charge somebody, you don't have enough evidence, they go free. And I don't know how it works in the Bahamas, but once you go free in the US, you're free. Even if you go to somebody and say, "Oh yeah, I did it," they can't arrest you again for it.
uh, I thought you were even talking just about in terms of like flight risk and stuff.
Right, right. Which may be why they did it in the first place because of that investigation going on.
That's why it's always so sad when crimes like that happen to like what happened when someone like goes out of the country
Right,
because, not to say that America's like always great with justice being served or
right,
anything like that,
right.
but um it does make it like more difficult when it does happen outside of the country because like there was this wasn't even one of the cases that I was going to talk about, but I saw there was an influencer. Um, I think her name is Ashley, and she had went on a trip out of the country with her boyfriend, and he proposed and everything like that. And then I think it was like the night of her birthday, the day of her birthday, like 2 days after she got proposed to. I believe it was in Africa that they were. I can't remember, but they she was found hanging in their hotel room.
Oh, wow.
And everyone is speculating that it was the boyfriend, that he had something to do with it. They're like, she would never do this. Like, she literally just got engaged. It was her birthday. She has all these future
Right.
plans. She has everything. Like, not, to say that you know everything that somebody's going through, but, I think to an extent, her family and friends are like, she would never do this. Like,
Right.
ever. This was just not something that she would do. And unfortunately they're in a different country. So it's not like, I don't know if like the US can step in at that point and do anything with him, right? Like it has to just be whatever country he's in. Like
Right.
if they don't arrest him and say that you're guilty, like he can just come back to the US and just be a free man, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that works because I always thought there was something that if it was like she's a U.S. citizen, he comes
Mm-hmm.
back to the U.S. because she was a U.S. citizen, like authorities here can investigate the case.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I always got the impression anyway that's the case, although again, I'm not a legal expert.
So, anyways, so that's crazy. Well, we'll have to see what happens with that. That'll be interesting.
Yeah,
Um, oh my gosh, I feel like I have to sneeze. I'm so sorry. I have like the
that's
worst
okay.
allergies out of nowhere today. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
My throat
there's
feels
something.
scratchy. I'm sneezing so bad. My nose
Yeah,
is like
yeah, there's something
runny.
going on with allergies in Florida because I'm bad, and your mom. We actually were at. This might be against HIPAA rules, but we were actually at Centricare because she's
Oh
having
yeah.
allergy issues and that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Crazy.
no
So
fun.
anyways, so the case that I'm gonna also talk about is a very local one to us. So two Lake Brantley teenagers recently, um, they so as of mid-April 2026, the students that were accused of plotting to murder a classmate is active, and both suspects are being charged as adults and held without bond. These suspects are 15 years old and 14 years old, which is so crazy. Like that's
Yeah.
incredibly young. Um, as of April 29th, which is coming up, that's going to be their next court appearance and the hearing for both of them. So, a little backstory on this case is that so they were planning to murder a fellow student as like a blood ritual. Um, I guess he looked like the what is it? What is it?
Adam Lanza, the
Adam
kid's name is.
Lanza.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess
One of the
this
school shooters. I forget which one, which is sad, but I forget which one.
I think it was the Sadie Hook one. He I guess the classmate looked like Adam Lanza, and these girls were obsessed with him, which I guess Sandy Hook, not Sadie Hook. I'm
Sandy
sorry.
Hook. Yeah, I heard.
Um
I
so
didn't mean to
I
correct you, but
no, please correct me. So he looked like he looked like Adam Lanza, and I guess they had this weird obsession with him, which I guess like that doesn't seem that long ago, but it kind of was that long ago. I don't know if they would be, but
yeah,
it was
14-year-olds. Yeah, I mean that.
like they weren't. I don't even think they were born when that happened, so I don't know if they would be learning about that in school or what, but
Oh,
um
maybe. Sure.
I guess like they developed this obsession with him, and this young boy in their class resembled him, and they ended up having this whole plot to murder him and basically lure him in the bathroom. And there were documents that it'll, as the trial goes on, it really will be interesting to see all the evidence that they have, because I guess like these little girls wrote everything out. They even wrote, they found letters that they wrote to their parents, um, under the assumption that they were gonna get arrested.
Hmm.
So in their mind, they, if they killed this little boy, they would get a blood bond to the Sandy Hook shooter and bring him back to life, I guess.
Yeah, which
I don't
is
remember. I don't remember
kind of
being
insane.
that delulu at 14, 15 years old.
Yeah. Well, and Sandy Hook happened in 2012, so that's
Yeah.
14 years ago right now. So yeah, they were, if they were around yet, they were babies. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, maybe that makes it easier to, I mean, this is a terrible word to use in a case like that, but it makes it easier to romanticize something like that, or to, you know what I mean? I mean, idolizing anyone who idolizes a mass murderer should be, they should be talking to somebody. And I can only
Hmm.
assume that the parents didn't know about it, maybe, they didn't know what was going on, because you don't always know what your
No, yeah,
kids are
I don't
doing,
think they did.
you know? Um, but yeah.
So I guess like so the 15-year-old, she was the head honcho of the whole operation, and then her friend Louise, the 14-year-old, she wasn't going to be, I guess, having part in actually killing the little boy, but she helped with the plan. So she was
Yeah.
involved enough that she's going to equally be charged. And if you ever have a second, you should listen to the body cam footage of these two girls in like the cop car while they're waiting, while they're driving to the station. They're like thinking that they're just going to be coupled up in this jail, like talking about their life together. The one, the 14-year-old, I guess she was under the impression that nothing was going to happen to her. She was like, "What? I'm not, I'm just going to get released right away. You're the one who's going to be stuck in jail." And then they're like, "No, you're going to jail too."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you can tell like they were joking around a lot before then, but once that happened, it got a little bit serious and a little more real. So the 15-year-old, allegedly she brought a 10 to 12-inch knife with her to school in her backpack, along with gloves, trash bags, wipes, and cigarettes, intending to lure the victim into the bathroom, kill him, and like smoke a cigarette after.
Yeah.
Literally was her like written out plan. Like, I'm gonna kill him with this knife and then smoke my cigarette after, because like then I'm gonna go to
Yeah.
jail. Like fully accepting that aspect of it.
Yeah. 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 And it has to make you wonder, like, so the parents might not have known that, um, you know, that the kid had this obsession with like that Adam Lanza, or that, but I mean,
Hmm.
they had to know that the kid was having issues. I mean, that's a child who is
Yeah.
having some major, issues going on, and you like the parents had to recognize that, right? I mean,
I don't know. Depends how involved they are. I think some parents really are. You'd be surprised how uninvolved. Y'all were very
I guess, yeah,
involved parents, but I was friends with some kids that had very uninvolved parents. Like I know some parents now who are very uninvolved. Like, it just
yeah,
happens.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Very, very true,
Um,
very true.
but yeah, so I guess the plan, the ritual, the whole ritual side of it, it also included them leaving flowers, candy, and cigarettes at the scene after the attack. And her friend, the 14-year-old, so her part in it is that she's being accused of helping gather supplies, and she also was sharpened the knife. There's
Yeah,
also messages or letters or I don't know, something, some kind of proof
yeah,
that they
something
have
related to that.
where she like said that she would sharpen the knives.
Yeah, which I don't know, like, you know, what I'm curious about is they found out about the plan before anything happened, thankfully.
Yeah,
Um,
thank
and
God.
I'm curious, like, how did they find out? Did they tell, was there someone else they told and that person had enough sense to go, yeah, I need to tell somebody about this before, something really bad happens? Or did somebody just overhear something? I haven't really heard that aspect of it. I know they said that there was a tip they got from somebody about it. I'm just wondering
Yeah.
what the nature of it was.
I believe it was a classmate. Hold on. But yeah, I believe it was a classmate from what I read.
Got you.
Yeah, she was caught after an anonymous tip was submitted via the Get Get Fortify FL website,
Hmm.
alerting law enforcement to a planned school stabbing scheduled for the following day. So
Okay, there
yeah,
you go.
something with Florida is I guess they have this app that you can anonymously submit like, a see something, say
Right,
something type of tip, you know what I mean?
right, right.
And this is actually amazing because it I guess does show that they really like
They're
are on
paying
top of
attention
it.
to it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, which
you
is
know?
great.
Like
That's
I don't
great.
know.
Because
I don't
how many circumstances that happen in schools, if somebody had done that, if that existed, I don't know how long that's existed. If that existed and someone had done that, could have prevented it. Because this could have been a whole different story had that person not done that. This would have been a whole different story had that person not done that.
Yeah, so wow, yeah, so on the 22nd the tip was submitted. And then on the 23rd, the following day, police contacted the school security. When questioned by the assistant principal, Valdez, the 15-year-old, admitted to the plan and produced a white trash bag from her backpack, which contained the knife, gloves, trash bag, and wipes.
Right.
That's crazy. Shout out
Yeah, that is
to
kind of wild.
whoever tattled. That
Yeah,
is good
exactly.
tattling.
That is 100%. They say if you see something, say something. They said something, and like I said,
Yeah.
they probably saved a life right there.
And who knows, like,
At
so if you
at
hear
least
how,
one, because they're being charged as adults and they actually achieved what they were trying to do. Might have been them too. They could have been.
yeah, so like, I think it's kind of, if you listen to, who knows, like, these girls, again, if you listen to the body cam footage, they showed like no remorse for what they did. They were
Yeah.
just, I mean, obviously they're 14, 15, very immature, but
Right.
they were just giggling the whole time, thinking it was funny, joking, talking about how I got to fart, like literally amateur little girls.
Yeah.
And they're joking the whole time. Neither of them showed any remorse towards any the situation that almost happened, could have happened. No sign of like even fear of, like, it didn't seem like they cared that they were literally going to jail. I don't know if they just aren't
Yeah.
comprehending what that means, but
Well, and
literally,
that may come into play when they go to trial too, as far as
well,
the
that's
the lawyer will say, look, they had no idea what they were, what this was about, and
yeah,
what look at how non-seriously they took it. They had no comprehension. They were only 14 and 15.
yeah.
That may be part of their defense.
But if you're, well, so because of the patrol car footage and the body cam footage and all that stuff, um, and also just the evidence of everything that they brought to school, that's why their bond was denied. So March
Oh
1st or
yeah.
March 11th, that's when the judge denied bond because of the disturbing patrol car video evidence. That really
Yeah.
screwed them. That really screwed them
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I remember seeing something that the judge said, like, y'all showed no remorse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys can stay in here. Like, you're a danger
Yeah.
to society,
Which,
basically.
yeah, that's probably to themselves as well. I mean, honestly.
It's like that one case. I don't think we talked about it, but there was that one case years ago where very similar, those little girls, it was like a group of three best friends, and they all were about to have a sleepover. I think they were around the same age, if I remember correctly. And what was it? Slender Man. They idolized Slender Man, and they literally lured the two of the best friends, lured their third best friend out into the woods on their sleepover, and they stabbed her a bunch of times thinking that it was going to create this blood bond with
Oh
Slender
no,
Man.
we talked about this case. We did talk
Yeah,
about that case. Yeah.
this
Yeah, it
seems
is,
this
that
is
is similar. Right.
super similar, and those girls are still in. Actually, I think one of them, the one that wasn't really like, she was there but she wasn't as involved, she, I believe, is released. The girl survived, thank God, like somebody saw
Right.
her on the side of the road or whatever, but the one who like actually did the stabbing, she, I think she had like been released into, she had been released, but then she was in like a mental institution or something, and she's back in jail because I think she tried to escape, or there was something like that. But
Right.
you know those kind of people, I think, when you need a special mental attention as well.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. 100%. 100%.
Because
Yeah, it's so scary.
I know a 10-year-old that doesn't believe in like murdering people to create a blood bond.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
the 14 and 15-year-old should not be believing that.
Right. Right. So watch what your kids are searching on the internet, I guess, is the key there.
Right. Reroute
And
those
then
websites to Sesame Street.
exactly, that's what you got to do. Um, uh, but so another one that there was another recent updated one. This is one we talked about, was the Anna
Yeah.
Kepner case.
Hmm.
Her stepbrother was finally charged as an adult with murder.
Hmm.
And yeah, so appropriately for other things that had gone on before he murdered her, and I think you can figure out what that was. So yeah, that's going to be a case that we'll be doing a whole update episode on
Yeah.
down the road. I think when that's finalized, we'll do a full episode to take a look at that case.
But he's out free right now.
Yep, well, on
He
bail,
was
on bond.
he was charged, but he's walking
Yeah.
free. I think he
Well,
does have a court date where they will figure out if he's a flight risk or not,
yeah.
but
Yeah, I
you
was
know,
gonna say I had heard that they hadn't that
yeah.
they hadn't arrested him. Yeah, so
Yeah. He's
we'll
just
see what comes out of it. But that's like brand new. That's like in the last couple of days, I think
literally
that
like
that that
48
that
hours.
happened. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was interesting because when we talked about the case originally, we were like, why hasn't something happened with this case? And you know, now that it has, I'm guessing maybe they just were waiting for some evidence to come together, maybe with some DNA evidence or something
Oh,
like that
right.
to come together, and
Yeah.
that may have been what held it up. But
Mhm.
yep, so stay tuned on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what comes out with that,
Yeah, yeah,
because that's also awful. I guess there's they were also looking into, I heard something about a lot of people are wondering if anything's going to happen to like the parents,
sure,
because I forget who it is, but basically they're wondering if the parents are going to be held responsible of like why they were even in the same room with each other and
right,
stuff,
right,
which I
right,
guess like they might chalk it up to just like their step siblings. We didn't think there was an issue. Like I know there's been reports before that said like that there was another sibling that was sharing the room with them too. I don't know
right,
if it was one of her biological siblings or what, but I think it was like three of them. They had said initially that the kids could like change rooms as they please and all that stuff. Like, so I think that might create a little fuzziness with
yeah.
that.
Yeah, but I was wondering that too, if like by creating the circumstance where that happened, is
Yeah,
there culpability there? And I don't have any
because
idea.
he's technically underage, so I don't know if they would look
Right.
at it like.
child endangerment, maybe. I don't know, because she was 18,
She
so
was
it wouldn't be child
18.
endangerment there. But then there was also the other child that was in the room too. So I don't know. I don't know what the
Yeah.
law would say about that. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely a bad circumstance.
Mhm. Yeah. So those are our updates today, guys.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for either deep dives or, more
Yeah.
information as we have it.
Yeah. And next week, maybe we'll talk. Well, we'll see what we'll talk about next week. But if you have any comments or anything on any of these, if you heard anything that you're like, that wasn't right, or please let us know, because we appreciate that.
Yeah, we do our
Because
research, but, sometimes we miss things.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And sometimes, like, the information that we're going off of is reliable sources, but it's incomplete, which is like the case with a few of these. It's just they don't have all the information there. So
Mhm.
we always appreciate when somebody gives us more info, because that makes us do a better job.
Yeah, exactly.
All
So,
right, thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. We didn't say it's Thursday already. We usually say that, but we didn't. So
yeah. Peace out. Have a great
bye,
weekend.
guys. Bye, guys.